Good morning, everybody. Patty Ann here. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. Listen, I've done something a little bit different. I'm not sure if you saw my Facebook page this morning, our group page, but on there I said, hey, are there two of you out there who will volunteer to make a card? I will purchase the SVG and send it to you in the mail. So I made several purchases of the SVG and sent it. I wanted to do it the correct way, the honest way. And so I sent them the SVGs, and as we speak, actually, they're working on the cards, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. It's going to be fun to see people, and actually there's going to be four different people's representation. They all are getting the exact same SVG, and it's going to be fun to see what they do with it. So follow me up to my screen, and I'll show you how to get the SVG if you want to play along too. And it's not very expensive. It's $2, and how to use these SVGs once you download them. Okay, so follow me to my screen and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This shows the exact site I went to where I purchased the $2 really cute card template, or SVG. And it actually comes in several different formats, and I'll show you that in a second. But all you'll do is use the link I have down below for you, and I appreciate it when you use my link because I do get a teeny weeny commission from it, and it helps me to be able to keep going with this program, or this site, my tutorials, that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's look and see. Now, after I go here and I purchase it and I download it, it's going to look like this. It's going to come in looking like this, right? When I download it and open it, notice right here it says extract all. I have to make sure I extract all because this came in as a zipped file, and you can't use a zipped file even though it looks like you could. So what I would do is say extract all, and I leave the folder just as it is, and I'll say extract, and I'll replace it because I've already done this once. So replace. Okay, so once it's done, now here are the files that we can use. Now, depending on which machine you have, you can use the different ones. Now, if you have a Cricut, or you have a Cameo, or I believe even a Scan and Cut, you can use SVGs. I think the FCM is for Scan and Cut also, but you can use the SVG, I'm pretty sure, as well. So I'm going to click on this to open it, and notice there are several different files that come up. There's an envelope, the double base, which is actually the card base, and then there are two separate types of cards to look at. So I've already opened these, so now let's go to my silhouette and see what they look like. All right, here's the envelope. This is the card base, and these are the two cards that you can make. Aren't they cute? So I'm going to show you how to use these now in both Cricut and Silhouette. Since I'm already in Silhouette, I will just start here. Those of you who use a Cricut, you can fast forward ahead and you'll see where the Cricut part is. So the first thing I would do is to ungroup this. Let's get rid of this one for now. And let's say I want to change the coloring of this. Of course, it really won't matter if I change the coloring because the color is determined by whatever I have on my mat, whatever color cardstock I have on my mat. But let's see, let's suppose I want to change this. Oh, before we do that, how about this? Let's do this instead. Let's take this and this piece here, and let's suppose that I want to print something on here, or I want to write something with my quill pen that I have from We Are Memory Keepers. Let's go over there, and I'll just type in the word star. You're a star. You are a star. And I want it to fit inside of here. So I could just move this like this, and it's going to make it so it will fit kind of. And then what I can do is click on it. Let's see if I can just get it and skinny it in. And then probably I want to change the font. So I come over here to the right hand side and click on the text style panel. Maybe I'll change it to Samantha Craft. You know that's always one of my favorites, right? Now it's way too far apart, so I'm going to change the line spacing. And I think I will also change it so it's centered like that. And one other thing I think I will do now is I can just drag this to make it larger. And I think I'll make the line spacing a little closer. There we go. And maybe make it a little closer like that. Okay, I like that pretty well. Now now that's going to go, let's see. Okay, I jumped ahead of you guys a little bit. I decided to change the colors that I was going to be using, and I wanted my sentiment to write out on a white card. And so you can see it more clearly. What I'll do is change the background color here. I've also made it so that my size of my paper is 8.5 by 11 because that's what size my cardstock is. And I'm going to make one that has green writing and one that has blue writing. All right. So I'm going to what did I say I was going to do? Oh yeah, change the color of this. So I'm going to come up here to the page setup panel, come to the second button over here, and I'm going to change the color of the grid. And let's see, I'll make it that color. No, I think I'm trying to make it a color that it's not, there we go, that's good. That's not being used. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the spacing between them so it's really close. And that almost makes it like a solid color. It's not totally solid. If I scroll in, you can see there's these little dots, but it looks really good, and I can see, or you could see more clearly what I'm doing. So what I did with the text was this. I came over, as I told you, and got that font, but once I had that font selected, let me scroll in so you can see. Notice all those lines. Maybe you can see it more clearly in the blue one. Yeah. Notice all those lines drawn out? Okay, what you do to do that is this. I don't want just my pen to draw just the outline. So what I did was I came way over here, and I think maybe this is only available in the business edition. I'm not positive. But I came over here to this thing that looks like a sketch, and it's the line effects panel. And then all I did was come up here and clicked on add concentric circles. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to add the concentric circles, and I can change the spacing of them. I can make them really far apart or really close together so it almost looks solid. Let me scroll in so you can see. See all those lines there? Well, I don't want it to draw that many, but I don't want it to draw that few. So I can just scroll like this, and it's going to draw all of these lines. It will almost look like it's solid depending on how many I do. And you can use this button if you want to, the up and down arrow, either one. And it's fun to play with this. Maybe you want to have the hashtags. Or maybe you just want this. And you can change the angle of that if that's what you want. And you can add some crazy borders too, a scribble effect. This, there's all kinds of artsy things that you can do. No effect. Okay. But I'm going to go back to the one that I used, which was this one. Let me scroll back out. Whoops, out. And then, so for those of you using, oh, dear me, sorry. For those of you using, the Cameo 4, let me show you what I use. Look down here at my desktop, and I'll show you what I had to use. Okay, this is what I was able to do, and hopefully you can see the lettering on there. Can you see that it's gone around and around and around that to almost make it solid? And I could have made it go more times as well. So there's that one. And then I decided to do one in the green. And what I used was the silhouette markers. And since I'm using them, I had to use this adapter for my Cameo 4. So to use that adapter, and let me show you, it's called the adapter set for Cameo 4. Okay, so all I had to do was open this up like this, take my cap off, and just fit this down in here until this little lip meets that one, and then just click this shut, and then just go ahead and put this in my Cameo 4, and it was automatically recognized. So it's easy peasy, just like that. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, I wasn't sure which color of marker I liked better, so that's why I did both of them. So now we're ready to move these off. I should undo that and group those together first. Group. And group this one together. And I could actually group both of these together now. So I can move them off of here easily and bring these guys over here. So this one I am going to cut out of the greenish, bright green that I have, and you'll see it down here on my desk a little bit. And this will be out of the blue. It's kind of a tealy color. Okay. And so let's see. I think I'll just do this one first. So I'll go to Send and undo that. Let's see. Fill. I'll do by fill color now. Uncheck all of these, because the only thing that's on and I'm going to cut is this. So there we go. That's ready to go. And I'm going to cut it out of, see, I had it on copy paper. I do not want copy paper. I'm going to do cardstock textured heavy. And I changed my auto blade all the way up to an 8 or a 9. And my speed, I think I'll slow it down just a teeny little bit for this thing. So I'll put this on my mat now. Make sure all the little stars are off my mat. Okay, and put this here. Hopefully you can see down here a little bit too what I'm doing. And go ahead and squeegee this on. Sorry, my whole table's probably shaking. You know the story of my table. It's a piece of wood on an ironing board, but it works for me. Got these stars back up. Okay, alrighty. So I have these set up. I double check up here again. Cardstock heavy, auto cut, auto blade, 8 or a 9, and I'm going to say send. After I place it into my machine, I'll say send. And I'll be right back when it's done. Okay, this cut out, and look how beautifully it cut out. And I'm still not sure, like I said, which one of these I'm going to use yet, which color. But notice this, I also got this bonus piece right here that I can use for something, right? That's kind of cool, because that came out of here. And wow, I must have all those little circles around here too that I can do something with. Where in the world? Oh, they're still on my mat, but those might be something useful. I should maybe save those. I don't know. What do you think? You guys got any thought for what you could use these things for? I guess they could be polka dots on anything, just a little glue dot on the back of them. Anyway, so now the only thing left I have to do is, I think, let's look back up on my screen, move this off, and put this on. And I'm going to do this out of the blue cardstock. So I'll just say send. Uncheck this one because I'm done with it. Check this one because that's the one I want to do now. Again, I don't want it paper. I'm going to change it to cardstock heavy, textured heavy. And for my machine and my blade, because of how old it is, I up this to about 8 or 9. And I think what I did before was I decreased the speed a little bit. So I'm going to move these things out of the way and put this on my mat. And again, since my mat is not very sticky, you'll notice it's kind of scary. I'm going to make sure that I turn this thing over, and I should clean off my table first. Squeegee this down so it's good and adhered, hopefully. I turn it over so as not to mess up the cardstock with this. I don't have a brayer. Actually, I do have a brayer from a long time ago. For art projects. I just don't recall which of my many bins it would be in. So, okay, I'm going to put this in now. And then I shall make sure that I have cardstock, auto, blah, blah, blah. Everything's right, and hit send. And yes. And I'll meet you right back. Okay, look how beautifully this turned out. So I'm still not sure if I'll use the green text or the tealy bluey color. I haven't decided yet. But there's one more thing I have to do. So look up at my screen and I'll show you. If you look up here, you'll see this is the final piece. And let me change this back to white now, the background here. So remember how we did that? We came up to the page setup. I came over here to the grid settings, and I changed them to this purpley color. I'm going to make it back to blue, but I'm also going to change the spacing so that they're 1-inch spacings. And I'm going to make it a lighter. Well, maybe let's see, what should I do? I don't want it to be that bright. I think I'll just turn them off, actually. Okay, there we go. And also I'm going to turn off this cut border line. All right, so this is what we have now to do. So again, the cardstock I use is 8.5 by 11, so this won't fit this way. So I'm going to have to click on it and rotate it. If I hold down my shift key when I do that, it kind of rotates in increments that you like. Perfect, just like that. I'll move it down here and it's going to fit perfectly. Here's the thing though. Right here, there's a score line. In my Cameo 4, that's going to be little cut dashes. I'd rather it not cut, so I'm going to change that. So I'm going to ungroup these things. And I'm just going to take the score line now. Hopefully, going to just click on the score line. There we go, got it. And I'm going to change the color of the score line to green. And I'll change these other line of the outline of this to red. So the outer edge of the rectangle or the card is red and the score line is green. So now I'm going to say send, and I'm going to do it by line color again. And right now, notice all that's going to cut is the outer edge of this. If I unselect that and select this, it's going to cut or sketch, and I certainly don't want it to sketch, my score line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to cut, but I'm going to leave it as a really, really, really soft force, just so it barely shows up. And honestly, you don't even need this score line in there. You know how to fold something in half, but we'll just try this and see how this is going to work. So the first thing I usually do is I score before I cut. So I'm going to get a piece of white cardstock to put on here. And again, I got another bonus. Look at this. They fit inside each other really to look pretty on something. Can you see that? And I have all these little bonus dots too. Let me move those off. And go ahead and get a white piece of cardstock. Put this on here. Because I want my card to be white. Okay, and I'm going to, got a little greenie in there still on here. Get off. Off. All right. Again, squeegee this down on my not very sticky mat. And hold your breath. And I think I just got a dot in my coffee cup. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. All right. So I'm going to put this in now. Load it into my machine. And I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to do the cut first. No, I said I was going to do the score first. I always like to do the score first. So I'm going to score this. Remember, it is on cut. Okay. But I have it really, really low for the blade and the force really down low. So it should hardly even make a dent. Hoping. This would be something I would do a test for if it were really crucial, but I think I'll be okay. So I'm going to say send, and yes. So right now it's going to make that really fast, and you hear it going dip, 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 because that's making little cuts or little indentations, hopefully just. And after that's done now, before I take that out, I'm going to uncheck this and check the red. And now I am going to let it cut that. But again, it's not copy paper. That was from a last project. I am using cardstock heavy, textured. And again, for my blade, I'm going to up this like that. And I'll leave these things alone and say send. Yes. And that should just cut in a second. I'll clear off my desk a little bit from all my extra fabulous pieces I got. And bring that over and show you what we have. Okay, so here's the final part, and perfect. I just got a nice little score line. It didn't cut, as I did not want it to cut. It just made a wee little score line that I can barely see, and I'm sure you can't see it at all, but I'm able to see it right there, and I can bend it right on that, and it's perfectly done. So the only other thing I have yet to do is to put this on here, and then this, and then these two pieces. And whoops, wait, what's wrong here? Something's wrong. Oh, I see what's wrong. I have two of these. You know what's wrong? I need to cut one more piece, because there was one more piece, isn't there? Let's check it out. Let's go back to design. And sure enough, look at this. There is one more piece you need to cut to go behind this. Otherwise, since I have it on the white card, below the white, let's see if you can see, below the white stars is the white card. So I do need to put one more piece, or I could have made this card out of a different color. So let me cut this piece really quick like. I'll go to send after I don't think I have enough of that. Let me get another sheet. And so this is why I love it when you guys do use my links. You know, it doesn't cost you any extra, but I'm able to keep buying these supplies that I need so I can make the tutorials for you. So let's see, put that on there. And again, turn it over, squeegee it on, and go ahead and put it on my mat, or into my machine. Load it, and just say send. And I'm just doing this. Let's see, should be by fill color. Here we go. So I want to change it. It's copy paper medium. No, I want it to be copy paper. I don't want it to be copy paper. I want it to be cardstock textured. And I want to up this again because my blade is ancient, and say send. Yes, and that should be done in a minute. And then we can get started. So one of the things you could do if you wanted to was to use glue dots, or you could use pop dots to put this together. But what I want to do now, you have pretty much seen this as soon as I show you with the last thing. What I want to do now is to show you the other examples. I had 4 people working on this card this morning. I purchased and sent them the SVG or whatever they needed for their machine, and they made the same card. So it's going to be fun to see the differences that we all came up with this card. And also, don't forget now, if you do want to purchase the card, the link is down below for you. Please use my link. It helps. And there we go. Look how cute that is. Which one do you guys like better? There's the green print. And switch this out. Oh, that's, yeah, the green. And then here's the kind of bluish color. Okay, let's pause right now so I can get those other ones ready to pop on the screen for you.